Alright, day 6 is wrapped up here at the festival. It's been a quieter one for myself. Hoping to see 5 films, but I cut that short. I needed sleep. And my friend Sam, who was leaving the festival today, had breakfast and lunch with him. So I therefore missed a couple of screenings, Els and Killing Joe, but hopefully I'll catch up with those if they get a cinematic release in Brisbane. But look, it's amazing how many films there are that screen here. I've been following the TIFF11 hashtag on Twitter and reading other reviews. Today, for example, there were huge raves about Jean-Luc Besson's The Lady and Michelle Yeoh's performance. They say it's just fantastic, and it's a film I couldn't fit into my schedule. I'm starting to regret that now, and the same can be said of so many other smaller films here at TIFF. Tonight, it was a Tuesday night, I looked at the program. There were 21 films being shown on 21 different screens across the city, many of them in large theatres, many of them sold out. And look, that's not bad for a city with just 2.5 million people. The film I had picked out was a small, unheard of Canadian film at 8:30 in a cinema that seats about 600 people, and even that was sold out. So the first thing I wanted to do today was cover a press conference. And again, it's interesting to see how these things operate. With red carpets, the media are allocated slots along the red carpet based on their importance. And suffice to say, I've been down the end for most of those. But with press conferences, it's first in, first served. So earlier in the festival, press were queuing up for hours to get a spot for the big name films like The Ides of March, which I tried to get into and couldn't. But I did want to see a press conference, and I knew I'd be able to get into the one this morning, 9 a.m, for Like Crazy. And I knew it because it's a smaller film, and the early morning start's a deterrent for many. And it was cool seeing how it works. Seeing people from the floor asking questions, and seeing Anton Yelchin, Felicity Jones, and the director, Drake Doremus, think quickly on their feet, and they were great.
I think that's one of the main things, is having the courage to say nothing. Because we would always find we'd speak too much in the first take, and then you start to find what's true by listening and not saying anything.
Especially when you're making a story about a relationship, the amount of times that there's silence in a relationship, whether it's good silence because you just don't need to be saying anything, or it's that kind of bad, sort of somber silence where you don't know what to say. It's much more potent and powerful and honest.
After that, back to the Ryerson Theatre, my first film of the day, The Oranges. Features a large ensemble, but this comedy about two families and their relationships, it just was fake. It was like watching a sitcom at times, but it won some points back at the end. I think it avoids a cliched ending. So The Oranges, I'm letting slide a little bit. I'll give it a B-. Then I had a quick afternoon nap, and it was back to the Ryerson for Like Crazy. I finally got to see this film now. It was a nice, sweet, simple romantic drama about long-distance relationships. Won the Audience Award at Sundance, and the performance of Felicity Jones highlights her natural ability. She is a really good actress, and I can't wait to see her in more films. And the director, Drake Doremus, he shot it on a shoestring budget using only a handheld digital camera and a lot of improvisation. He just let the cast go at it. So I think it works for what it is. So Like Crazy, I'm giving a B+. And I thought I'd give you a quick glimpse of what is a very common sight at TIFF, along with the really long queues, but hordes of people waiting by stage doors so that they can catch the stars as they emerge either before or after the film. And hopefully they'll sign some autographs. But of course, when they're leaving, they're always going to these big, large black Cadillacs that are driving all over the city that takes them back to their hotel and the parties. And the celeb spotters, they're out in force. There wasn't a huge contingency at Like Crazy, but many wanted to get up close with star Anton Yelchin. The last film of the day was Sisters and Brothers at the AMC cinemas. First time I'd been there. I mentioned before there's a number of programs at TIFF, and I'm doing my best to see one from each. And this is a Canadian film that comes from the Contemporary World Cinema program. The movie takes 4 short stories, uses them to illustrate the complex relationships that are shared between siblings. The only actor of note is Corey Monteith from Glee. The film takes a while to warm up, but the feel-good ending, I think, will resonate with audiences. And I gave that a B. So that's it for another day. Late night for me. I've got some sound files to get ready, reports as well I've got doing a live spot for 612 ABC tomorrow, but just after lunch our time here in Toronto, and I'm recording my ABC digital show that's going to air nationwide on Sunday. So I'm at 22 films so far through 6 days, hoping to see 9 or so over the next 2 days if things go to plan. And I hate to think about all the commercial releases that I'm missing back in Brisbane at the moment that I'm going to have to catch up on when I get home. I don't think I've ever seen as many movies as I have in such a confined period at the moment. So look, that's it from me. Good night from day 6 in Toronto.